So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're in
Steven
a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List.
now. Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List. But they're cultural differences, you know. I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like.
Huh?
That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
All right.
So it's the culture.
You know about a hot comb scenario?
No, she don't know
she's
about no
looking
hot
at me. Because that's
You
that's
don't know.
old
You
school.
don't know nothing about.
Dax.
See how everybody laughed? That's a cultural difference. That's not a race difference. That's just that motion.
Denzel Washington just destroyed woke culture, and Hollywood loses it. Denzel Washington, one of the most loved and famous actors all around the world, has been around the acting industry for nearly 5 decades. However, recently, he came out with some controversial opinions on woke culture, which has caught the internet by storm. Being around for this long in the movie business has made Denzel Washington a fan favorite. During the promotion of his movie Fences, he said some very wise things that made everyone think twice. When it comes to movies, he said that culture, not race, is what stands out. Denzel knows it doesn't matter if the director is black or white, as long as they understand the culture of the story that they are telling. He has a point. He brings up Spielberg and Scorsese, who are both big names in the movie business. Indeed, Spielberg could direct a Scorsese movie, and Scorsese could likely direct a Spielberg movie as well. But it's not about the color of their skin, it's about how well they understand the theme of the story. Denzel strikes a chord right in the middle of the discussion about race and casting. He doesn't say race doesn't matter, but he also doesn't say it is the only thing that does. We shouldn't care about whether a character is black or white. Instead, we should care about whether the people who work on the show understand the story that they are telling. Let's look at his movie Fences. Denzel didn't just get a bunch of players together and call it a day. He made sure that everyone knew about the culture that the story was based on. It is clear in the movie, every character and scene seems real because it is based on real people and their cultures. The director and actors who understand the society that they are working with, according to Denzel, make the movie better. Let us not forget how important it is to have directors and artists who are good at what they do. It's not enough to just check a box. Stories need to be brought to life in a way that people can relate to. In Moonlight, Barry Jenkins captures the nuances of Black America, and in How to Get Away with Murder, Viola Davis demands realism. It makes a huge difference to have people who really understand the culture that they are portraying. It's not just diversity for the sake of diversity that Denzel is talking about. He's talking about real cultural representation. He says that differences in culture, not just skin color, can affect how a story is told. Because of this, cultural familiarity is the key for him to make a movie feel real and powerful. Also, Denzel has talked about race relations in the US, especially during the Obama years. He says that relationships between people of different races are about people interacting with each other. He said, "You can't make laws about love. People shouldn't wait for leaders to solve these problems. They should talk, ask questions, and get involved."
I want to just ask you, though, about the issue of race relations, because the film touches upon that. Right now, under President Obama, over the last 8 years, in your mind, have race relations improved under his leadership?
Race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are, I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage. There's no law that says, oh, because I'm president, you all got to get along now. So it's up to us.
When people talk about race and culture in Hollywood, Denzel's view is one that should be heard. He's not just bringing his acting skills, he's also bringing a bigger, more thoughtful picture. Denzel wants us to understand each other as people instead of focusing on our race. He wants us to talk about more than just race when we talk about discrimination and opportunities. Instead, he wants us to talk about culture and ability.
And there's been so many protests in America, especially during the election. Black Lives Matter movement, for example, and those issues. Has that movement in particular, the Black Lives Matter movement, helped race relations or not in America?
Well, listen, we live in America, and in America we have the freedom to express ourselves. We shouldn't take that for granted. So whatever the movements are, whether you agree with them or don't, they have the right to express themselves. So that's one of the great things about being in this country, that you do have the right to protest.
People have been shocked by Denzel Washington's views on Hollywood, which have pushed for deeper, more important representation. His goal is to tell important stories, whether he is in front of or behind the camera. Denzel Washington is a great actor, but he's also a moral person who thinks things through. Now, he's going after Hollywood's woke culture with the same passion he uses on the big screen. When asked about how he feels about people using social media, turn it off. He tells them because he thinks they are hooked on social media. It's hard for teens and young adults now that they are hooked. Do something different for a week if you don't think you are hooked on it, he said.
Turn it off. That's what I would say. It's hard for young people now because they're hooked. They're addicted. If you don't think you're addicted, and I'm talking about anyone, from the highest to the lowest, if you don't think you're addicted, then see if you can turn it off for a week.
However, Denzel thinks of social media as a tool and wants people to use it for their benefit, rather than wasting their time trying to be liked by people all around the world.
God has blessed us with free will. Now it's free will magnified, free will on steroids. You're free to go in any direction you want. It will allow you, and it's not the enemy. It's just a reflection of our own free will. And we all want to be liked. But now we want to be liked by 16 million. And will now some of us do anything to be liked. We used to do anything to be liked, but it was by the person in front of you. Now it's to be liked by 16 million people that you don't know. We have to ask ourselves, what is the long-term, if not the short-term effect of too much information?
His point is simple but strong. Having variety on the outside is not enough. Who needs to hire a black director or cast a black character if they don't understand the culture that they are playing? A lot of people think what Denzel Washington says, but are afraid to say it out loud. Diversity in Hollywood is often just for show. It's more about checking off the right boxes than sharing deep, culturally rich stories. For Denzel, that's not good enough at all. You thought he was mad about the lack of real stories? You're about to find out more. Denzel has made it clear that this simple approach to diversity is not only wrong, but also dangerous. His role in movies for black people has changed over time. He said in an interview, "I'm going to make sure that there are hundreds of roles for the next generation and use the power I have right now to do that, and nobody's going to get in my way." Denzel doesn't care about how you look on the outside. What you bring to the table is what matters. He knows that the real power in Hollywood still lies with the same old group of people, mostly white guys who run things from behind the scenes. They say they want to change, but Denzel knows it's all a lie. He said that Hollywood isn't being progressive when it really is because the power structures stay the same. Let's not forget about cancel culture, which is one of the most talked about issues right now. Denzel is also against the cancel culture, even though many people in Hollywood are quick to do so.
We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it.
People are afraid to say what they think because of cancel culture, and he knows that when that happens, we all lose. Denzel thinks that free speech is important for a healthy community. Denzel is also doing something about the fact that there are not enough real, important stories. His production company backs projects that give people who don't have a voice a chance to be heard, and that deal with important social problems. He helps young actors and filmmakers stay true to themselves and their countries by being their mentors. He wants to bring stories to life that really hit home for people on a national level. Denzel won't play Hollywood's political games either. Denzel flatly refused to say who he voted for when asked by a reporter.
Was a question who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election.
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
Well, I'm only asking because the story was online, but that's okay.
Huh?
Let me ask you this. What issue do you hope President-elect Trump tackles? What's number one in your mind with the new administration?
I don't know. I'd have to be more informed to just say off the top of my head the number one issue. I'm not sure. Education, jobs, health. I mean, there's so many. Yeah.
He thinks politics shouldn't be about the left versus the right, but about what's right and what's wrong. He has said that the heavily left-leaning nature of Hollywood has made it a place where conservative views are often shut down or made fun of. As well, Denzel Washington has talked about how Hollywood tends to support the new political cause without really understanding what's going on. Denzel thinks that you have to do more than just talk the talk and really do something. Furthermore, Denzel had an interesting opinion on the people who say that certain actors are in Hollywood. Here is what he had to say.
See, people, first of all, they say in Hollywood, like that's a place. We're in the movie business, and we live in Los Angeles. But I'm not in Hollywood. I don't have anything. I don't know what that really means to be in Hollywood. I have a good job. I'm an ordinary guy with an extraordinary job. But in Hollywood, there's no place where Hollywood people. Well, maybe there is a place where Hollywood people meet, but I don't go there. In Hollywood. Nah, I can't shoot today, man. I got to go meet some people.
I got to go in Hollywood.
Yeah, I got to go be in Hollywood. You know,
I love that. Thank
ride
you, guys.
around and tell my driver, point that thing.
Despite being one of the most successful people in the movie business, Denzel stays humble and keeps a good attitude towards everyone. However, some people still think that he is brave and right, while others think that he is too negative.